All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 22nd meeting of the Ames Community School District Board of Directors. I will call the meeting to order and entertain a motion to approve the agenda. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Smith, seconded by Beerbaum. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 6-0. And we will now read our purpose statement, and we invite anyone in the room to join us. We will get it up on the screen here. There we go. The Ames Community School District commits to equity and access that empowers every individual to reach their full personal and educational potential. Thank you. We'll begin with our discussion items tonight. Our first item is our board committee update, and we will start with the facilities committee.
The main thing we talked about was the high school opening and progress. As you can see, city allowed it to be occupied, some things like that, but I'm sure a lot of people have been going through it and seeing it. So you know what it's like. I just came from there. So yeah, that's going great. It wasn't necessarily in the committee meeting minutes, but students have been going through, have been touring, have been giving tours. It's awesome. So it's looking great for everybody.
Awesome. Any comments or questions for facilities committee? All right, then we'll move on to our policy committee, and Director Winfrey is running late this evening because she is at new family orientation for her incoming kindergartner. So policies that we discussed are all on the policies for discussion here. So we will go ahead and move on to our policies for discussion. Are there any comments or questions? These are all IASB recommendations. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary. I will say we had a couple of questions from board members on the very last policy, 711.3, student transportation for extracurricular activities. That is one that we revised. It had a statement in it about the superintendent making a recommendation to the board. We didn't think that was necessary. It isn't legally necessary. We don't want any kind of hold up in this. We just feel like this is a policy that should just be in place unless the superintendent thinks there's a reason not to have it. So we did shift that language a little bit. Are there other questions on the policies for discussion? Or anything else I missed, Elisa?
No, you covered it. Thank you.
All right, and we do not, let me just check. I don't think we have any community members signed up for discussion for the policies for discussion. So we will go ahead and move on to our North Crest property valuation settlement.
I wanted to just make the board aware of some information we had received from the city. Amy, if you could pull up the document North Crest refund by levy. In assessment year 2019, and the assessment years are always a year and a half behind the fiscal year. So January 1st of 19 is the valuation that the fiscal year 21 budget is based on. The city assessor had determined that portions of North Crest were partially taxable and assessed valuation to their property for those portions of the property. It was challenged to the Ames City Board of Review and denied. North Crest then filed an appeal in Story County District Court. Unfortunately, it was filed just before COVID, and so it was delayed because of COVID and the court's not operating at full capacity. In May of 2022, the court did side with North Crest and ordered that 100% of their valuation be exempt from taxation. Because it went over 3 taxing years, the amount of the refund is fairly significant. It ended up being $961,300 for all taxing entities, and our portion of that was $447,856. Amy, do you have that document, or who's running the PowerPoint?
Dan.
North Crest refund by levy. Thank you. So I did go back to each of this. I was able to get the valuation that was assessed for each of those years from the county treasurer. I was able to go through and figure out it because it affects each of the different tax levies and the taxing funds. And so I was able to put that together. I had two concerns immediately when I first saw it is I needed to know how much it affected the debt service levy and whether it was going to affect our ability to meet our debt obligations this year. I do have enough fund balance in the debt service fund, so we are going to be able to do it. I did talk to bond counsel. We had a couple different options if we had not. One, the county treasurer is required to levy enough to meet our debt obligations. So even though we didn't find out till August and the tax bills were out, they may have had to go back and reassess and send out new tax bills. Or we could have paid it out of sales tax fund, which is also a legal source to pay GO bonds. But that was the first thing I determined, that we did have enough fund balance, so that wasn't a concern. And then my next concern obviously goes immediately to, will this affect spending authority? It will not, while we will lose cash in the general fund, it will not affect spending authority. Spending authority is built on the amount of taxes that is in the formula, not on how much we collect. So if people end up not paying their taxes and we have some delinquent, we don't get penalized on that. So while we will receive $268,000 less in the general fund this year from taxes, it will not affect property taxes. Spending authority. This is an unusual thing. I've never seen this in 22 years. I did have a really nice conversation with the county treasurer. And he says, yeah, I was kind of expecting you to call. And he said that the largest refund they've ever had to give in the past was $95,000 over all the taxing entities. So this was a significant event. So just wanted to make you aware of that. If when you see the financial reports, if it looks like our property taxes are a little lower than what we budgeted, this is the explanation.
Questions for Chris? Thanks for updating us on that. Okay, we will move on to our teaching and learning update. And tonight we have the Little Cyclone Teaching Academy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm really happy to be here tonight and talk about the Little Cyclone Teacher Academy. So this was something that we had done in the past, way before COVID, probably 4 or 5 years ago, where teachers got together and were able to learn from each other. And it was really powerful. And so we were very excited to be able to bring this back this fall. So I'll just go through a little bit about it. Why we decided to bring it back, we really had 3 purposes. One, like I talked about, really focusing on instructional methods and facilitating that sharing of best practices between our teachers, to provide opportunities to showcase teachers' talents in our district. They're very talented teachers that we have here. So for them to be able to, they were very willing to be able to share those talents with other folks. That was great. And to provide those opportunities and support for teacher-driven professional learning. So I kind of phrased it that way because this was like a conference. So you could kind of choose what you wanted to attend, how much you wanted to attend, what your focus area was. So it was a really great, energetic way to start the year. So it was over 3 days. So it was last week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We had 25 different presenters, 50 sessions were offered, and we were still tallying the registration, the attendance sheets when I put these slides together. So we actually hit 225 for our participant numbers, which is more than half the staff. So that was really impressive. I was really excited about that. There was an energy that I would say we haven't felt in the last couple of years in the rooms, and just that we were at the middle school. So at the middle school, it was just really a great way to start, do a soft start. A couple of folks I wanted to highlight. So we invited some partners in to offer some sessions. So Nikki Fisher with the Ames Chamber of Commerce, they did a connecting with the Ames workforce session. So some of our teachers were able to go and visit businesses and really see what was going on and what the businesses needed. And they got to tour the airport, and there were some other, that was the highlight. I know I saw some pictures in the planes and things. They went to Cirrus. Nikki did an amazing job working with Missy Carlson, was our internal person that was the connection. And so we got really good feedback about that session. Heartland AEA had a couple of their staff come over and run some sessions on math and technology, computer science. So that was really great, and we appreciated that. And then we had some cultural spotlights that were several of our Ames Community School District interpreter translators offered some insights, even some baked goods into what different cultural connections might be. So we really appreciated them taking the time to offer those sessions. So as you remember, we kind of had three big goal areas. And so we had sessions that aligned with each of them. So you can see, I won't read all the session titles to you, but I tried to highlight. We had a strand of sessions that kind of centered different pieces of our equity work. So you'll see those there. You had strands that supported some of the literacy goal areas. We've talked a lot about that. So you'll see some there. And then we had strands that focused on social emotional learning. And I would say by and far, those were probably the biggest sessions were around social emotional learning. And so that was really great. I kind of talked before, one of our goals was really to invest in our teachers that we have because they're so talented. And so we offered a few things that we hadn't been able to try before. One of them was we were able to offer license renewal credit. So that's not something that we've really done before, but we were able to do that. So it was, they had to pay the $35 processing fee through Heartland, but otherwise we did everything else. And we were also able to offer both stipends for folks who attended and stipends for folks who presented. So that was when we were going through the feedback about what influenced their decision. The license renewal credit was a factor, but not as much as the stipends were a factor. And so they just, one person wrote, I really appreciated the stipend because it felt like I was a professional getting paid, to learn and to hone my craft. So I thought that was a nice comment there. And then we had flexible scheduling. Like I said, people could come for all 3 days or part of a day, just whatever sessions really felt like met their needs. And then there's my initial feedback slide. So you can kind of just see what I thought was nice was that the suggestions were all like, more of this, more of this, more of this. So we'll probably do it again next year. We got positive feedback about it. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about it.
Good job. My question would be, are there any specific ways that the board can support this work? It sounds like it was a very positive thing for our teaching staff. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. You're welcome to come next year and attend any sessions that you would like. Yeah. No, I think this was really something that we were able to support financially out of the teacher quality money. And because COVID was so stressful, we had more of a carryover than we've had in quite some time. And so it was really the teacher quality committee was able to say, yes, we would support this sort of a thing. So that was really helpful. And we had some funding from that. So, okay. Mm-hmm.
So what percentage of our teachers participated?
That's a great question. Over half. So we had about 225 people present, and I think we have just under 400, like 380 something teachers. So I don't know the exact percentage, but about half.
Yeah, great.
Which for an optional PD in the summer, I was pretty excited about. I thought it was really impressive. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Director Miller.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
Okay, and we don't have anyone signed up to speak under the teaching and learning discussion item. So I will go ahead and open our public forum and read our statement on public comments. Residents of the district, students attending the district, parents or guardians of students attending the district, and district staff members may address the board about any topic relevant to the district, whether on the current agenda or not. Those who wish to speak must sign up at the beginning of the meeting. Speaker participation is limited to 3 minutes once per item. The views and opinions of citizens addressing the board do not necessarily reflect those of the board, district administration, or staff. Speakers are to remember that Iowa law prohibits the board from discussing specific employees, students, or their performance. Student speakers will state their name and school. Others will state their name and address. And we will begin with Victoria Van Voorhis.
I am Victoria Van Voorhis, 110 East 9th Street, and I'm here to read another letter in support of naming the Ames High Auditorium after Wayne Hansen. This is from Bianca Zaffarano, class of 1973. Wayne Hansen, Hank, was one of the 4 teachers I remember from high school. He is also one of the few I can count on my right hand that made a difference in my life in a positive way during those formative years. I watched him be patient in a time when the world was in upheaval. The Vietnam War was raging, dog's breath underground newspapers started, sit-ins were common, absenteeism was up, kids were getting stoned and high before they came to school and overdosing when they went while at school. One thing we did not miss was play practice. Drama was a good space, a safe space created by Hank. He had high, uncompromising standards, but was at the same time unimposing and kind. Normally, Wayne Hansen was the epitome of good nature and calm, but one day one of my classmates who had a starring role in the play came to play practice higher than a kite. It was the first time I had seen an adult get angry for the disrespect that this showed, not only to the art, but also to fellow students and to Hank and his dedication and care of us. Wayne Hansen told him to leave the rehearsal and never come back like that again. What happened next was remarkable. Wayne Hansen was so respected and loved by the students that student never showed up again for his rehearsals or performances high. It was a lesson in life that I took with me, and an important one. Mr. Hansen had values. He had a line in the sand that one did not cross, and he walked the talk as those who lead well do. He was a great teacher and mentor. Of all the teachers in high school that actually made a difference, he rose to the top. I remember his tall, straight stance, his well-coiffed beard, his quick laugh. I remember his standards and that one should not be afraid to uphold them. The world could use more Hanks. I am very grateful to have had such a mentor. Bianca A. Zaffarano, DVM, Director, Practical Medical Training, Veterinary Emergency Group, Emeritus Clinical Associate Professor, College of Veterinary Medicine, Iowa State University.
Thank you, Victoria. Tracy Stoll.
Okay, you know my name already. My address is 1603 Carroll Avenue. Tonight, I'd like to share a tribute to Hank Hansen from Stephen Peer, my 1974 Ames High classmate. I believe it's important to share a bit about Stephen so you can understand the context from which he writes. At Ames High, he was on our football and swim teams, then became involved in modern dance and drama. As an adult, he has had a rich career as an acclaimed dancer, instructor, and choreographer, performing with international dance companies, sometimes as lead soloist, and teaching on the dance faculty of Juilliard for 14 years and at other renowned schools and dance companies. He created Peer Dance Group in 2004 to collaborate with dancers and artists in various forms, creating over 75 works for concert stage, opera, theater, and film that have been performed all over the world. His group is, and I quote, dedicated to the idea that creativity and communication in all its many forms are essential aspects of our existence. From Stephen. I had the enormous good fortune to receive a kind of formative life-altering experience at just the right time, with just the right person and just the right place. In the tumultuous teen years when my life's path was anybody's guess and nobody's design, I stumbled across a real teacher, a man of the theater named Wayne Hansen in Ames, Iowa. Mr. Hansen instilled something in me that I only came to know and understand much later, and which has sustained my 40+ years in the profession. That theater, capital T, does not offer an escape from life so much as it does a reconnection to life. The discipline and responsibility inherent in the truth of this idea, coupled with the pursuit of unattainable excellence, served as my North Star. I have always steered by it, no matter which role or company or tour or country or challenge I found myself in. It is something I now endeavor to pass on to audiences and students around the world. It has given my life purpose far beyond what I could ever have imagined when I began. Sitting in a chair in the back of a classroom at Ames High, decades ago, responding to the enlightened guidance of a man named Mr. Hansen, my high school drama teacher. The experiences he provided were monumental in preparing us to become thinking, caring, courageous contributors to our society. It seems very right that we should name a monument for this exceptional teacher to commemorate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Judy Brown.
Thank you so much for allowing us to continue to give tributes to someone we feel is so important to how students are thriving in their adult lives today, and how we hope you'll be able to continue thinking about him being named. I have two this evening. Diane Colmer, class of 1969 to 71. It was so long ago, but I will never forget what he taught me and how he opened my world. He had faith in me to be the student director of The Member of the Wedding play. I auditioned for a part but was disappointed not to be cast. He reached out and offered the student director position to me. I had worked on sets, props, and backstage on previous plays. I learned so much from him. We never did light plays that are often the norm at high schools. He believed in the commitment and the talent of his students to take on plays of substance and heavy lessons. That is the faith he had in all his students. That faith is what helped me become the assistant producer of the Stars Over Vision production of MAME at ISU years later. Mr. Hansen taught me a lot how to enjoy life in all of its ups and downs, and mostly how to have faith in myself. He was a treasure who changed my life. Diane is a retired corporate lobbyist in West Des Moines, Iowa. The second one I'm reading is from Ellen Westerland Z, class of 79. The Ames High Theater program was more than a fun opportunity to put on a show. It taught life skills, decision-making, and independence, and Wayne Hansen was its heart. Hank did not coddle his students. He had high expectations, and we strove to meet them. Besides acting, students made all the components of most Ames High shows, from the scenery to the publicity materials to lighting and sound. When I was a junior, I was co-chair of the costume crew for a major show. Hank met with my partner and me and gave us hand-drawn pictures of the costumes. He wanted for each character and some money. That was it. We were responsible for shopping, fitting the actors, designing the patterns, and constructing the costumes to match his vision. We were 17, and he expected that we could do it, and we did. I am as proud of those costumes as I am of anything else I've done in my life. He assumed that students could solve problems without supervision. Students quickly learned to work out the answer by themselves, if possible, and only take it to Hank as a last resort. Hank trusted and supported his students and provided space for them to learn many skills disguised as fun. Ellen Westerland Z, class of 79, is a contract expert for Allstate Insurance in Weeki Wachee, Florida. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Judy. Tom Emerson.
Excuse the perpetual frog in my throat. Just three things tonight. First, a bit of background. I got involved in the Hank Hansen Auditorium naming drive, thanks to a student, two people really, but we start with Brooke Harker, class of 96, who is a successful painter in California, and she's currently exhibiting her art in Italy, so she's not able to attend. After Brooke extolled the virtues in most effusive terms of Hank, I felt a need to consult a neutral party, journalism, you know. So I went to my main man, my oracle, Bill Rip. As you may know, has been at was at Ames High forever, and is currently head of the Alumni Association and editor of their newsletter. Not only did I get a bright green light from Bill, but I also learned from him that during the later stages of production, Hank often slept in the auditorium at night. He'd bring in a cot and sleep in the auditorium. It's not clear whether there was a shower handy, but I'm sure he managed to take a shower while he was having breakfast at home. Anyway, that's commitment with a capital C. Next, I thought it would be useful to read just a bit from an editor, a mother of two of Hank's students from the 1990s. She wrote, "What really matters is that Hank Hansen encouraged students, no matter who they were, to get involved and believe in themselves. No other teacher they encountered, no matter how nice or competent, gave my girls the courage to be themselves." So another capital C. Finally, my wife and I will be out of the country for 2 months, and this may be my last chance to speak to you. I hope it is before the decision is made and we get back in November. But I would like to make kind of a more general observation about excellent Ames teachers. They usually get a plaque or something similar on retirement, but I would like to see something more significant done to recognize their contributions to education, teaching, and inspiration. Wouldn't it be great if the district leadership did something to honor outstanding teachers who have gone well above and beyond the call of duty for the sake of providing a quality experience for their students? Let's not stop with Coach Flannery and Hank Hansen, but also maybe consider the district planting a row of trees, maybe right around this building. And each one with a nameplate honoring the likes of John Forsman, Homer Gartz, Grace Bowski, all those truly outstanding, inspirational teachers throughout the school system, not just Ames High. And I would even include, I'm out. Anyway, perhaps even Mary McNally is my own nomination or nominee from 1955. Go Mary, thanks.
Thank you, Tom. All right, we don't have anyone else signed up to speak as part of the public forum. So I will close our public forum and we'll move on to our consent items, and I will entertain a motion.
I move approval of the consent items as presented.
Second.
Okay, moved by Beerbaum, seconded by Franzen, and Superintendent Lawson gifts to the district.
Yes, the superintendent's office received two very generous gifts from donors. First, Walmart North Grand Avenue store provided $3,000 in cash for the elementary schools of the district. And the second gift that we have is from the Dan Wooden Excellence in Education Award, which is $2,400 in cash to all of the Ames community schools in the district. That's all we have for now.
All right, thank you. So it's moved by Beerbaum, seconded by Franzen to accept the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. And we will move on to our action items. Our first action item tonight is the 2022-23 Comprehensive Assessment Plan.
I move that the board approve the 2022-23 comprehensive assessment plan as presented.
Second. Moved by Franzen, seconded by Winfrey. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. New Ames High School project bid issuance number 4.
I move the board approve plans and specifications, form of contract, notice to bidders, advertisement to bid, and estimated total cost for bid issuance number 4 for the new high school project.
Second.
Moved by Beerbaume, seconded by Franzen. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. New Ames High School change order.
No, we gotta go back.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I move the board set the date of public hearing on October 10th, 2022, and direct the board secretary to publish the notice no sooner than September 21st, 2022.
Second.
Moved by Beerbaume, seconded by Franzen. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. New Ames High School change orders.
I move the board approve the change orders for the new Ames High School construction project as presented.
Second.
Moved by Franzen, seconded by Beerbaume. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 7-0. Moving on to our board and staff items. We'll begin with items from the board and requests for staff. I do not have any requests for staff this evening. Do we have other items from the board?
I have one. I just wanted to thank all the teachers. I mean, it's awesome being back in the buildings. I was just at Fellows. I was in high school. I think I might have been at the middle school sometime this week. I don't know. It's just great to be back. And I really thank the teachers for the excitement and the energy they're bringing to the building. They're the ones that matter. They're the ones having the effect on the students in the classroom. It's just so great to see everybody back.
And Director Beerbaum stole what I was going to say. I apologize for my tardiness. I have my only child started kindergarten, so we had kindergarten orientation. It was great. And I know it was great all around the district. And I'm just so thankful to have so many dedicated faculty, staff, administrators in our district. I get to send my baby to this week.
All right, we'll move on to items from the superintendent.
Yes, thank you. So I'm currently in the process of developing a committee to explore the request to name the auditorium at Ames High to honor the legacy of Mr. Wayne Hank Hansen. Really soon, this committee will come together with district leadership to discuss relevant information and help determine the recommendation that will be made to the Ames Community School District Board of Directors. The committee will consist of district leadership, members of the high school administrative team, parents and community members, and identified individuals advocating on Mr. Hansen's behalf. Upon committee discussion and decision, I will provide a proposed timeline for which a recommendation will be made to the board
Sounds great.
for action. Sorry.
Thank you. Any other items? you
No,
need?
sorry, that's all I
right.
have.
Okay, then we will move on to our board planning calendar. We do have a work session coming up in just a couple days. So on the 24th, we'll have our work session. And then our next regular meeting will be September 12th. And we'll also have a work session. Comments or questions on the board planning calendar? All right. Then we will take a very quick recess and then we will reconvene for our closed session. Oh, no, we have to have a motion for closed session. Thank you.
I move the board hold a closed session as provided in 21.51J of the open meetings law to discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate only where premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price the governmental body would have to pay for that property or reduce the price the governmental body would receive for that property.
Second.
All right, moved by Beerbaum, seconded by Lankaitis. That was a mouthful. And roll call vote.
I'm sorry, I can't find my spreadsheet. I got caught off guard too. So, Director Smith,
Aye.
Director Beerbaum,
Aye.
Director Franzen,
Aye.
Director Lankitis,
Aye.
Director Shields Cook,
Aye.
Director Winfrey. Aye. And Director Becker.
Aye.
Okay, passes 7-0. So we'll take a 5-minute bathroom break and we'll reconvene in closed session.
Oh, that is one long sentence with no punctuation.